Hi guys, I'm Kenzie.
I'm Joey, and today we're going to talk about how much it costs to convert our van.
Yeah, it was probably the #1 requested thing on our van tour. Reading through the comments, a lot of people wanted to know what it costs, so that's what we're going to talk about today. So throughout the whole build, I kept an Excel spreadsheet for literally every purchase that we made. And I mean like down to the cents and down to like boxes of screws and everything, because I actually wanted to know exactly what we spent. And if you are planning on building a van, I definitely recommend that you do that, not only to keep track of your expenses, but also for insurance purposes, because when you get your van insured, you want to be able to provide a good baseline for what your van is actually worth and why that is the case, so you could say this is exactly what I spent on it, so that hopefully if something were to happen you would get more out of it. Hopefully. We spent months and months and months looking for vans. We were trying to find something under $10,000 that was well taken care of, didn't have any rust.
Which is unheard of.
Not easy to find. Yeah. We held out until we found the right one. So this one came up in March, and we were actually on a trip in Sedona, like that weekend when we found it, and we called the guys right away.
We were checking every day for months.
Yeah.
Probably 3 or 4 months.
Like all different websites. So this one was listed for $8,500. Which was a steal. It's a 2010 Mercedes Sprinter 3500 dually. And when we ran the Carfax on it, it was actually, the worth of this particular vehicle was estimated to be about $14,500. So these guys actually had it at a used car sales place. Like it was not like a commercial vehicle or Mercedes dealer or anything like that. And they picked it up at an auction and were really just looking to do a quick flip. The body is in really good shape. There was no rust because it's been in Arizona its whole life. But there's always something, right? It was pretty dang high mileage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When we bought it, it had, oh my god, are you ready? 289,000 miles. Why were we okay with that? Because we had, well, seriously, yeah. We had over 50 maintenance records, so we know that it was very well maintained. And these engines are known to go 500,000 miles.
And we're crazy.
And we're crazy. No, we're not. We also spent $150 before we bought the van to have a diesel mechanic check it out. We wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything weird that we were missing, and they said it was a really strong engine, well taken care of, and you know, like any high mileage vehicle, we're going to be putting money into it because that's just...
Well, it was so cheap, so we knew we would have to put a few $1,000s later in.
Right. So that's why we were able to buy the van that we did. We just, honestly, we held out until we found that really good deal, and we did. And some people would never touch a vehicle with this high mileage.
But we know we're gonna have to put some work into it later on. So
yeah,
we knew that going in, so we're okay with
we don't expect it to be in perfect shape. There is an oil leak that needs to be fixed, and
we're working on
there's little things. Not to say that that's going to be like the final cost of the van, because we'll probably, if we're being realistic, we'll probably put over the years, like, I want to say at least $5,000 into it. Don't you think?
Yep.
Just because it's not, they're not necessarily cheap to maintain. And we know that.
Yeah,
and
we knew that going in.
They break down, like cars break down. That's one of the things about like living on wheels, is that it has to go. Anyway.
So the first thing we did after stripping the whole van was sound deadening and insulation, and that was $507.69.
But that also includes 3 different kinds of insulation. So we used denim insulation, we used foam board,
yep.
We used
spray foam,
and
Reflectix.
Yeah, so 4 different kinds actually. It sounds like a lot to spend on insulation, but trust me,
it's worth it.
It's worth it to have enough insulation. The next thing that we put in the van before we built anything else was a kitchen window. So our van was a cargo van, so it didn't have any windows before. We spent $290.10 on, plus an additional $20 for urethane to put it on. to press it on.
Our fantastic fan in our kitchen cost $150.
We bought laminate wood flooring from Costco, and it ended up costing us $290.10. We spent another $69.72 to buy some subflooring.
Another big thing is our air conditioning unit. It's a Dometic Brisk Air 2, and we spent $619.54.
And on top of the actual unit itself, you also have to buy the separate control panel that goes inside. That's what we control from the inside, and that was $112.44.
All the plywood that we use for our cabinets, overhead cabinets, and wall, we spent a total of $132 on that.
That is actually only the cost of all the half-inch plywood we bought.
Yeah.
We were actually kind of lucky because my dad had a lot of 3/4-inch plywood laying around that he wanted us to use to get out of his way anyway. It probably would have been more expensive if we bought every single sheet. We were lucky to be able to use some of that 3/4, and then we bought all the half-inch that we needed.
So we bought some pretty cheap furring strips. We spent $18.54 on that.
We used steel studs to frame out our benches. In total, we spent $76.78 on steel studs.
Our solar panel kit that we bought from Renergy was $494.99. That included two 100-watt solar panels, all the wiring down to the solar controller.
Yeah, we should also mention that we would like to expand with one more solar panel. We're just going to put on another 100-watt solar panel so that we'll have 300 watts total. That'll be an additional $120. Our granite composite sink cost us $227.95.
Our LED ceiling lights cost $45.
The shiplap that you see on all of our walls cost us $122.64.
Our IKEA walnut countertops cost $209.71.
Our refrigerator was hands down the most expensive thing that we put in here.
Besides the van, yeah.
Besides the van itself. It was $1,341.21. Ouch. But we love it, and it was worth it to have a really good, efficient fridge that is a really decent size.
We've got a Nature's Head composting toilet, and we spent $750 on that.
If you've ever looked them up before, you know that they retail for about $1,000. We actually bought our toilet from Cody and Lexi from Dynamo Ultima. But they happened to have an extra new one. It wasn't used.
Just laying around.
They had an extra one, and they were offering a really good deal to anybody who wanted to grab it from them. So shout out Cody and Lexi.
Thanks, guys.
For all of the pine tongue and groove that we used for the ceiling, we spent $56.25.
Our faucet, we spent $224.04.
We have a Lagoon table mount that allows our table to swivel in all directions, and that cost us $189.
So we have color changing LED light strips, and we spent $35.
We have two 100 amp hour AGM batteries from Renergy, and those cost us $200 each, so $400 total.
We have a Renergy 2000 watt inverter charge controller, and we spent $678.60.
We have a SureFlow water pump, and that cost us $60.
Our 2-burner stovetop cost $256.
To fuel that stove, we bought a 5-pound propane tank, and that cost us $50. That is almost twice as much as buying a 20-pound propane tank, which doesn't really make any sense. I think it's just because it's kind of a specially made size. It's not very common. But the reason that we used that size is because we really wanted the propane mounted underneath the van, and in order to do that and have it mounted upright, we had to do the 5-pound tank. We just couldn't fit the 20-pound tank underneath safely. So we also wanted something that was bigger than like the camp size like propane. So that's why we decided to spend the money on that.
We've got two 6-gallon fresh water tanks, and that was $45.
Underneath the van, we have a 5-gallon gray water tank, and that cost us $25. Attached to the gray water tank, for us to empty it, we have a motorized ball valve. So there's actually a switch from the inside of the van that allows us to open that, and we can attach a hose to it to drain that. We have a magnetic knife rack in the kitchen, and that costs us $16.99. We also bought nice spice jars, and those cost us $45.
We ended up building our own extension cord. We used 25 feet of 8-gauge welding cable and put our own caps on it. Put a 20 amp cap on one end, and then a 15 amp locking cap on one end, and then a 15 amp cap on the other end.
Sorry about the noise.
Yeah. The reason why we went so thick of a cable, because we run our AC, and when we're plugged into shore power, we needed to have no line loss, because it's pretty picky. We also ended up building our own roof rack. Spent about $5. Spent about $500 in material on that, and me and her dad bent everything, welded everything, and turned out pretty nice.
Now keep in mind that's only material costs. You guys put a lot of time into it.
A lot of time. You can spend upwards of $3,000, $4,000 on a pre-bought one, pre-built.
And if we had the money, we would have.
Oh, we would have.
It would have been easier. Last but not least, we added up all of our little miscellaneous stuff that you probably don't want to hear about every individual thing.
Nuts, bolts.
That includes, hardware, paint, small tools, drawer handles, drawer slides, are like the little bits and pieces for plumbing and water hoses and adhesives and like all of those kinds of things. Came out to about $304.90. And all of that adds up to a grand total of, you say?
$8,594.71.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's what this whole van costs.
Ow.
Keep in mind we're gonna have we're gonna have additional costs for putting in 3 more windows, another solar panel, a swivel mount on our seat. So it's mostly done, but we'll probably end up
livable.
It's more than livable.
There's always gonna be projects.
We're gonna end up putting a little bit more into it, but that is what we spent to build it. Hopefully you guys found that useful and maybe interesting to know what we actually spent on the van. We're thinking about doing another video all about how we personally afforded the van and tips on saving. Spoiler alert, we did pay for this ourselves. If you guys are interested in knowing how we afforded it and how we were able to save up for it, let us know. And we'll do a whole other video about that. And if you have any specific questions, leave those below and we'll try to address those eventually. If you liked the video, like it.
Wow.
Like it, subscribe.
If you feel like
turn on
subscribing,
notifications.
subscribe.
Even if you don't feel like it, just do it. Just kidding. All right.
Thanks, guys.
See you the next one. Bye.